How y'all doing? My name is Theology Matters. I also go by Eli, and I am the Anomaly. I'm a 23-year-old Oklahoman, and let's get into this. So, big news: the transgender front for the Republicans. Yay! So we have Caitlyn Jenner, formerly known as Bruce Jenner, is running potentially for California's governor again because Newsom has been term limited. And yeah, I saw this on Twitter and I had to go look it up. And lo and behold, I was not being lied to. Funny enough. So Caitlyn Jenner is considering another run for California governor. This is from Fox. And then we have Gateway Pundit. A GOP victory is possible. So this was met with the happiness from MAGA, who, let's be fair, is happy that Trump pees. And yeah, some people, the AKA the real conservatives, who are, yeah, this ain't the best idea. And lo and behold, guess where I'm in? So, yeah, one of them, Jenna, I don't know if I would say she's right today. But I don't know if I'd call her the best conservative, but still, but she writes, why would we support this guy if we don't even support Sarah McBride? Which, funny enough, I did a video earlier about this and about how he has to use the bathrooms with urinals, which for those of you who are, people who have to use the restroom, that's usually in the men's room because men have this thing called a zipper. And then for some reason, we have to pinwheel it lightly, just to be clear, because for some reason it just decides that, I wasn't actually done. Yeah, I don't know why that happens. I'm so glad when I was like, is there something wrong with my biology? And then I found a short that everyone was talking about, and I was like, okay, cool. This is just a natural thing. So anyways, so we're gonna go into it. Today, we've got I've got at least 3 points. And then I've kind of got a closer and it's gonna mirror the one I did for Mace and her transgenderism. So, but it really is the question that I think MAGA needs to be asking, and a question that is going to be answered in a way that I think I'm not going to be happy with. But y'all are more than welcome to prove me wrong, which is the best alternative. You don't want to prove. If I'm proven right, then something happened that was bad. If something happened like if I don't think you're going to do good, and then you prove me wrong, great, because that means you did a wonderful job. Prove me wrong. I'd rather be proven wrong than proven right. Yes, I'd rather look like an idiot than be the smartest dude who then there's problems. So anyways, so Jenner, it's been about 10 years. Dang, I'm getting old. Man, I was 13 when he did this. I didn't know I didn't care about the Kardashians, to be fair. Hashtag no cable life. Anyways, so he entered, I guess, in 2021 for the recall for Newsom, which again, it was California. More than likely wasn't going to be good. And it was 1%. He got 1% of the vote. Now, to be fair, I think some people just considered him like a solo candidate running, kind of like didn't Joe Exotic run for an office? I'm from Oklahoma. I should know this because what was it called? Safari H2Os. I don't think that was his. I think that was after his arrest, or I haven't been down there in a while. Anyways, so he didn't really win, but a lot of people, I guess, for some reason, are coming up to him and saying, "Hey, you should run." Which, yeah, I don't know about that. Mainly because real Republicans are going to wish anyone else. For crying out loud, I'm trying to think of people. Like Mace would be a better option. At least she is a real woman. I don't like Mace, mainly because, well, not because she's an adulterer, which, but she's cringy, which I know people can say the same about me. But at least I'm like, when I say I'm conservative, I mean it. She makes. Okay, I understand. Yes, I understand. I'm making a video, but like, she just makes a bunch of political videos to then raise for her donors, because that's all. That's the game. That's the market. Because she wants you to increase her pocketbooks so she doesn't have to spend her money. So, anyways, but Jenner thinks that Harris is going to be his opponent, which seems potentially likely. She has about, I think it was like a 70% approval rating. She's been in Florida for, California. Oh gosh, it's the endings. Let's see, California, probably for her entire life. She was it district attorney, or was it, district attorney. Wasn't attorney general, I think. Either one will work. Either one. It is law. So he thinks that if you're running against Harris, I would destroy her, which is really funny because I know he's being lied to by the people, because this is a map of the from NBC from the presidential election, where there's about, give or take, we'll just say 10, we'll round up. About 10% has been a 10% lead to Harris over Trump. And with all due respect to Jenner, you can run. I don't care. Like, if you want to run and you want to see if you can do it, sure, I'll give you the shot. I think you're wasting the shot, but sure, go. It's in the same ways as with it's in the same lines with me of like I'm trying to think of them. Crap. My brain farted. Anyways. So 10%. And here's the thing. Jenner's probably going to be a Trump-like candidate, which, and this is why I say the MAGA. So I don't think that he's going to be able to win, especially with California's open primary, which basically just means that the two higher candidates in the primary go to the general. I don't think that he's going to win high enough, especially if another moderate and or actually conservative candidate steps up, because that's going to take votes away from him. The Democrats just run Harris. She's going to get all the Democrats, and that will probably be it. Excuse me. But even if, let's say, it was both of them, this will probably look more or less like the map. And Trump is far different than, Jenner, true. So some of this is going to vary, but, in this one way of, well, God grief, I hate this pronoun game I'm playing in my head. It's annoying. He, meaning Jenner, will be different than Trump. And while Trump may be dinged for something from some voters, Jenner won't. But that vice versa. Jenner might be getting hit for things that Trump wouldn't. So, and that's true for everything, to be fair. So I think he's being lied to. He's going to lose, but he's more than willing to try. And it may not even be Kamala. Let's be fair. Especially after that video of her post. What was it? It was a post-election. The one where she looked like she was inebriated. Which she inebriated. Sorry, I need to put in quotes because we don't know, but yeah, she did. She looked ragged at the very least. And that's just and that I can say without quotes. Yeah, something was off. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna say that he's probably not gonna win with people in California. Again, he's more than willing to try, but in the general, assuming that he did beat whoever and it was Kamala, I don't think he'll still win. I think he'll even lose against maybe some Republicans. The Democrats, assuming if there were two Republicans in that race and one was kind of more me and the other one was him, he might actually be able to win with that if you had, I wouldn't say a Carrie Lake, because Carrie Lake worries me. But funny enough, I'm going to have a video about her. But someone like myself is very conservative, and, and by conservative, I mean like long time ago, not this like, yesterday's conservatism. So he might have a chance there, but that probably would be the only chance that he has. Everything else, a good solid conservative steps in, he's probably gone, because the vote will get split. So anyways, so moving on, we have the fact that he is a advocate of transgenderism. So this is why I would not say that he should be voting, or that he should be running, is because he is a transgender, and as Republicans, we really need to set a line in the sand, or not even in the sand, just in stone. Sorry, in stone, because it's permanent. And I don't think Republicans are going to do that, just based on what I'm seeing, especially with MAGA taking off some of its pro-life policies, MAGA taking off some of its gender lines, and being very, and I understand if Trump wants to be chummy with, Jenner, but at the same time, Jenner needs to return to Bruce. I know I got a comment the other day of someone who was like, well, technically Caitlyn is Caitlyn, but I understand where you're coming from. But the name change only happened because the gender change. Well, sorry, drop the quotes. The gender change. Well, I guess sex change too. I don't know. I really don't know how far he went, because I don't want to know, and that's good enough reason. That's just it. But he's arguing, though, that the core problem is actually with real trans people, is not with the real trans people. Sorry, not with real trans people, but the fact that it's propagated throughout schools and, the culture. Okay. And then looking at the real tweet, the problem isn't with real trans people. The problem is with the indoctrination of children, mutilation of those said children, the men and women's sports, and then taking away parental rights. Okay, so the first thing I have to say, because I am going to be going through this, because he wants to talk about, well, it's not with, the problem isn't with real trans people. Then what's the problem with? Isn't that weird? Well, he does say, I was about to say, he doesn't state it, but he states it. But I don't understand. You read in between the lines of these. Sorry, I'm pointing to my monitor, which is pointing to that stuff. It's funny because it literally is about transgenderism. Like, it's not the people that's the problem, but it's the disease of transgenderism. Like I talked about with the mace, it's like she's fighting a symptom of the disease of transgenderism. And given that Republicans are so wishy-washy on this stuff, we ain't going to be able to go take it out. So what's interesting is that the first one point that I like to mention is that it says the mutilation of children. It says mutilating / castrating children, forever ruining their lives. My question is, if it's forever ruining their lives as a child, is there a reason that as an adult it doesn't ruin their lives? And if you can say that, no, it's perfectly okay, no, then that's a lie. No, we can't even, like, I could talk because there's the current, so the Supreme Court's hearing the Tennessee transgender this child sex change things. I haven't kept up with it as much, but obviously the Supreme Court is now going through this now. So, but again, the rate of suicide amongst the trans community is quite high, even with the care. I think the lifespan is like, it's like after you get the surgery, it's like a decade, give or take. I wouldn't say if you want to fact check me on that, I wouldn't be so against that, but I know it was at least, a couple years, a decade. I'm seeing 5 back in my head, but I'll say a decade. That covers a good chunk, but it's still a decade of your life that's weird. There's like the whole thing of like with dudes where there's they gotta I think it might be dudes. Yeah, I think dudes. Where like they have to shove this like yeah, you can say I can say dildo. They shove like this dildo in because if they don't, then the hole just suddenly like heals itself because that's how, biologically we're as men I'm designed. So when you just like leave a gaping hole in me, it's just a wound according to my body, and so it's trying to heal it. And so that's why you have to like shove the thing in, and you have to do it like every night or something. Like this is why I say when people actually understand that just the root cause of all this problems is just the transgender itself, like we went too far. But of course, we're going to have people who are going to be like, but freedom, guys, freedom to die. Anyways, but yeah, it's just weird. Also, I like to mention the point that it says castrating children. Is there a reason castrating adults isn't a problem? And I understand some of you, like, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit on castrating. Crap, I got to censor that word. Balls. Censoring, or we got to not maps, castrating maps, aka minor attracted persons. If we're going to say that castrating kids is bad, isn't castrating adults also bad? And this is where Republicans, y'all need to figure out that and understand that the age limit doesn't change the science. And even some of y'all will defend using the science and then for some reason not go all the way, which again is weird. And really, MAGA needs to figure that out, which is kind of more in closer. I'm talking on about that. So, but furthermore, it was like, why are the kids falling to it in the schools, and why is the school system promoting it? And then, of course, the parents are losing their kids. Well, that's because transgenderism exists. And those people who are trans are going to fight for it to stay alive because it's fighting for their survival. So, yeah, no dip, it's going to be everywhere because people are trying to, I hate to use this word, but evangelize the people into what they are. And to, gosh, I'm going to say more, spread the gospel, the trans gospel, right? But I hate saying that, just because of the fact that I'm devout Catholic, although I suck at sometimes be devout, but praise the Lord for the sacrament of reconciliation and our boys in the collars. Well, they're not boys, they're men in collars. So anyways, and speaking of men in collars, wow, that was a great turnaround. We got adults in California from the Pew. And the major reason that I'm pointing this out is because he's not going to win with Catholics, because he's not winning with this one. And I'm the gringo. I'm the gringo Catholic. For those of you who don't know what gringo means white person, basically. Especially because of a Hispanic culture, there's the like Latinos, Latinas, and then there's just gringos. So, but there's 28% Catholics in California, which is quite big of a chunk. And that's a big voting block of the Catholics. Like, you could send one Catholic in, that will probably do it. That will kill his chances too. For crying out loud, I heard one person say that a lot of people vote Democrat and for a Catholic purely because of JFK, because he was a Catholic too, but he was also a Democrat. So that's why there's some Latinos who are voting Democrat, but there's weird ideas that for some reason they don't delve into it and be like, yeah, JFK was a Catholic Democrat, but yeah, the conservatives own the Catholics at this point, which even then is not really is also up for debate now, because Trump walking from his pro-life stance, and then MAGA basically telling everyone who has a pro-life stance of, a couple years ago, back off. Which I always think is really funny because it's like, oh, I'm sorry, protecting the unborn from being killed and slaughtered, and yet they'll probably send me into the draft to fight for Israel or Ukraine or whatnot. But anyways, 28% Catholic. Here's the thing. In the same thing, you see about 40% go to church regularly. And by that, once a week. And Catholics only have to go once a week. That's Sunday. It's a holy day of obligation. And then there's a few more. But which is kind of funny to me when I say Sundays and holy days of obligation as the church writes, but it's like Sundays are holy day of obligations. But yeah, everyone understands Sunday though. So, but that's 40%. That's a 11.2% of voters, assuming of the people, assuming of course like everything maths out right. But that's more than 10% immediately goes to someone, because the church would probably be, I don't know if they would be aggressively anti-Jenner, but definitely not happy that Jenner is a walking billboard of transgenderism. So, and that might be it. Hold on. Yeah. So that's it. So we're on the closer. So, that's practically it. So that's the reasons he's going to lose, just based because it's California. Excuse me. It's California. He endorses transgenderism just by being a transgender. It is enough. Like, I'm Catholic. Obviously, I'm going to endorse Catholicism as the only faith that should exist, purely because there is no salvation outside the church. That's just how it works. And for crying out loud, that's universal. There's a lot of religions that would say the same. The only difference is mine's true. But anyways, the main thing that I'd like to point out kind of in this closer is that MAGA really needs to figure out where are they going and how far is too far. Because, a lot of people, when they see stuff like this is the meme that like everyone sees. The reject modernity, that's the LGBTQ plus whatever else is needed flag. And then you just have the gays. But, it's interesting because it's like, we used to not be so homo loving, with all due respect to those who are part of the rainbow community. But it's just, MAGA's really gonna have to figure out what is too far, because we used to say that the people who were homosexuals and the transgenders were not going to be part of our movement. They're in it. So when are maps going to exist? And that really is going to be an important question that MAGA really needs to answer, and it needs to answer like now. Because if it cannot decide where it's going, because if it's just by popularism, then eventually there's going to be something very popular that isn't going to be good. So yeah, but because like allowing Jenner is going to be the acceptance of transgenderism in America. Because if we say like, oh, he's going to be a great governor and he's a great person and all this, there's no problem with transgenderism. And if you're like, well, I'm not saying I'm advocating for him, yeah, but he's a great person and all. And you can say that, of course, but you can say, well, he's got some flaws, with the fact that he's a dude. But, and I'm not really the only one. Like, when I think America would be better off when it knew what gender was, than the fact that it was, equal to sex, because America is great, right? You want to make a great America. Well, we need to know what gender is. And this guy, I found this the day before I was going to do this video. And a couple days before I was gonna, I did it once, and issues. Anyways, but it's so funny because the libs at TikTok, who did, I think, say happy adoption for the Dave Rubin, the guy with current 2 kids, that all of us are like, oh, look, surrogacy bad. But for some reason, Dave got a pass because he's Republican, which I don't even think he is. The last I heard, I thought he was more of an independent, which is like, what? Anyways, but it's interesting because Elizabeth TikTok said there is no such thing as a trans kid. And Dean Winters, a leftist, for some reason has some brain cells still remaining. Do you think people magically become trans the day they turn 18? Which I assume is in the fact that balls, I lost the thought. But it's just interesting because even the left is pointing out that you can't have no trans kids, but trans adults are okay. And he's picking up on that, even as a leftist, I think. Or at least that's what Burn Republicans were getting at. And yeah, we need to either recognize transgenderism, which for me and many others is not going to happen, or to accept it. Or sorry, I'm reading. To either deny it or to accept it. We got to make a decision right now. We cannot be all, it's bad for kids, but adults, yay. Because when we say, well, the kid has XY chromosomes, that makes him a man, but he wants to be a woman, and now he's 18, what are you going to say? The same thing. Because the science is the same. The human is the same. It's older, yeah, but it's the same body with, aged. So, again, it's just MAGA really needs to figure out where they are going to go with this. And even Republicans, like the future of the Republican Party is really up for grabs on that because there's a lot of sides, especially Trump. Trump kind of nicked this all. He released a grenade into the group. So now it's all, what are we going to actually fight for? Because we all have energy now, which, I will give Trump that benefit. He started a movement, and even with MAGA, but the problem is that MAGA is really going to be pulling him out when he's like 93. They're going to want him like Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter that, oh, I voted for Kamala, even though he literally was. Look back at the video, see that? That's going to be weird. But yeah, it's just, and I understand people MAGA because based on the analytics from one of my shorts, and I'm getting a buttload of y'all who are about double my age. I understand you may not like what I'm saying tonight, or you may not like what I'm saying in some of my shorts. Cool. Don't care. Like, if we want to talk about this, sure. I'm more than welcome to. But calling me a basement dweller is not going to be fruitful discussion. And furthermore, that's a window. We don't have windows in basements. Sorry. I thought that one was funny. When I read that comment, I was like, bruh. So, anyways, write your comments. Sure. Go and come and tell me. I want to know. But y'all, you would have to understand, because this isn't about acceptance. If we're going to talk about acceptance or even love, right? Love is wishing the better good of the person. And the better good for Bruce is to become Bruce again, or to resume as Bruce. And that's honestly my advice that I would give to him, is to return to that. Like, obviously, I understand the like a point, even in the point of evangelization. It's like, obviously, I'm not going to be all like, fire and brimstone on your ass, but I definitely am going to address it at some point. Like the only one I really go fire and brimstone on is Dave Rubin, pure before what I mentioned earlier, because it's not only his life that he's screwing up, he's also denying a mother to 2 children who probably will need one, or not even like the mother, denying the mother, and also the children don't have a mother, and even the mothers who gave their babies up they don't get to experience the motherhood, which I understand, some people can't, but, if he bought a womb to then do stuff, you made the adoption to some degree. So, but anyways, that's really it. I hope that MAGA finally understands that we can't be so rainbow lovey. And I hope Bruce decides to come back. We need him. It would be a great triumph if you return back and then we're able to say that I was actually led astray. But I don't know if that's going to happen. And again, this is where it's going to be prove me wrong. I'd rather be proven wrong. And yeah, I think that's really it. MAGA needs to figure out where the line is. Jenner needs to return back. Jenner doesn't need to run for governor. He needs to work on returning back to his prior self, the best version of himself. And I say that lovingly. So yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching. If you could hit the big red button, you could also hit the thumbs up. That would be nice for me because that tells me that I'm doing something nice. This video took me a while to kind of voice out purely because I feel like something's missing on this one compared to the other ones. So, but we'll see. I've got queued up once I work on some road mapping. Ryan Walters in his Oklahoma Tulsa public schools. Was it Tulsa? I don't matter. In Oklahoma, Ryan Walters, the superintendent of education here in Oklahoma. I'm going to make a video about why I kind of disagree with the fact that he's bringing in a King James Version Bible into the classrooms to have teachers teach from the Bible. Then I've also got Carrie Lake, which kind of need to still craft in my mind. But for some reason, people want to send her to Iowa, aka back to her home, because she can't win in Arizona for weird reasons. Weird reasons, just to be clear. That's where the quotes go. And yeah, and I'll probably have some gaming out again. I got OBS fixed. Lo and behold. So I'll be doing that. So anyways, Pope Francis's word of the day, again, covering up because yeah, I don't know if that's going to be allowed. And I had to censor one word in here, or I will have to censor one word. So anyways, have you all a good night. Be gone. Hit the big red button, please. Hit the big thumbs up. If you're going to hit the thumbs down, please write a comment. Let me know why. If it's just the fact that you hate my guts because I'm conservative, if you dislike it because it's just a sucky video, let me know. I'm open to either. Honestly, I'm open to either. Bring it. Anyways, yeah. And if you're going to, and also, sorry, small point. If you're going to write a comment, I don't need full sentences, but I do at least need to know what the hell you're writing. And please no insults because that doesn't answer anything. That's just cool. Yeah, the insults are not going to work. I'm going to laugh them off. For crying out loud, I got called a cuck and in the one with the basement dweller. And I just started laughing. I'm still laughing! Anyways, so... Anyways, peace, y'all. Be gone. Caitlyn. I mean, frick! Ugh! See, this is what I'm saying. I hate the pronoun game. I hate the pronoun game that is going on. Either way, good night, y'all. Goodbye. What was the outro? Be a better people, and that way a better world is possible. Bye. I missed the edit.